It was a cool, crisp morning on a Native American burial ground. Just then, Mac Jr. showed up with his van. It was a gray van devoid of any personality, perfectly fit for Mac Jr. After Mac Jr. parked his van, something was off. He could feel it. After all, the wind suddenly stopped out of nowhere. It felt as if the earth stood still in that moment of horror. Then, all of a sudden, the tension was broken as soon as Mac Jr.'s van's radio turned on. It read a police report. The police report went like this: "Help, help, someone. We gotta stop that skeleton from stealing the town's only traffic cone. It is the only thing keeping this town alive." In fact, this was the only thing keeping the town afloat, contrary to what you may be thinking, because the Native Americans who used to fund the town's infrastructure stopped as soon as they built the parking lot onto the burial ground, essentially desecrating everything that the natives preserved for millennia. Oh, and the reason why this town's traffic cone was so important is because it was lucky and it had magical spiritual powers that were able to make this town survive even through the hardest of hardships. Then suddenly, Mac Jr. heard the sounds of bones and footsteps approaching him. He panicked because he knew that this was the skeleton who stole the town's last traffic cone. Mac Jr., accepting his fate at this point, decided to close his eyes and stand still. When he opened his eyes again, he saw that the skeleton who stole the town's last traffic cone was standing on top of his van. Mac Jr. stood there frozen in fear. As the skeleton was now on top of his van, he feared that the skeleton will pounce upon him at any moment. But instead, he'd just stand there. They both eyed each other down. But then, suddenly, a bird came along. Mac Jr. noticed the bird that the skeleton was waving at. It wasn't an ordinary bird. It was a giant bird. Then, all of a sudden, the giant bird stole Mac Jr.'s van with the skeleton who stole the town's last traffic cone. And then they flew away to a place beyond our mortal realm. Then all of a suddenly, the police showed up where Mac Jr. is standing. Then the police began to question Mac Jr. Mac Jr. told them the story about the skeleton that stood on top of a van and waved at a bird that stole a traffic cone. The end.